Our first project we will use XYZ Hotel Group CSV file data source and analyze it. When you open Tableau may be your first time opening Tableau. I'm just going to give you a quick tour. Left pan. There are a lot of varieties in terms of connecting to different data sources. You can connect to Tableau server, that is Tableau's product. It's their own server where you can publish reports directly. It is important to know how to connect to cloud servers on Tableau, and it's very simple. Let's connect to our data source. So remember, the data source is a CSV, which is actually a text file, so it says to a file and text file. I want you to click it, and once you do, navigate to wherever you store your data. So I started in a folder called XYZ Hotel Group, and you can see XYZ Hotel CSV file. Click open. OK, so as you can see now we are in the different window to the previous one. This is often known as the data source window. You can see on the bottom left, it says data associated, and this just shows you more information on the data source that you just connected to. Let's have a bit of a tool of this window. So on your left, as you can see, this is the connections part, and it shows you what data sources. You can connect to more than one data source. Now it's just one file, so if you click on this little arrow here, you can edit the connection. So this is where if maybe you made a mistake or you want a new updated file, you can do it here. You can also rename your data source, so instead of XYZ Hotel CSV file margin, call it whatever, but I'm just going to leave it. I'm clicking out of it. This section usually shows the tables within your data source. Data interpreter. This basically cleans your text file workbook. What it does is that if it sees something like merged rows, etc., it gets rid of them and puts it in a more better table format. So if you do click, it shouldn't actually do anything, just because you can see this table is pretty clean. It would help if maybe someone merged these two rows together and called them something else. In the text document it would have leaned it, but this table is looking fine. So we don't need to use data interpreter. Union. So union is just a function that allows you to append data into your table. If you had two text files which you different years that are exactly the same, but just two different years, you can create a new union, and what it does is that it would have appended the two sheets moving on to the main window. As you can see, when we connected, it immediately brought in the sheet into this pan. If we had other connections, we could have just dragged it and dropped it, and it would have brought it into this paint. As well, again, opportunity for you to change your title of your database if you want. OK, so let's move downwards so you can see there's two icons here, and one just represents a little preview of the table. And if you click on this icon here, this is just a summary of the field name and the table it is from. Let's go back to the table icon where it says sort fields. You have the opportunity of sorting out each of these fields into maybe alphabetical order, etc., which I generally do just because it's easier to store through, so it tastes thought. Fields, click on it. Now data source ordered just means how it appears on your actual data source, and we're going to switch it to something called A to Z ascending per table. Now it's in alphabetical order. Next thing we should do is let's just go through the data while we here, and before we do that, I want you to take note of the format of each field, so you can see the field name is here and the table it's from is here, and on the top of every field, you see it has some icon, and this icon represents the field type. For instance, category is a bunch of words or letters, and in data language, it's called a string, so Tableau automatically classifies field types, and you can see, if you click on ABC string is selected, the next column as you can see is hotel as string. Other data format, we will work on it as we go. Looking at this data, I think we have enough to do an analysis for Mr. XYZ Hotel, and I think it would be sufficient. Okay, so moving on. If we go to the top right, we can see a pane called Connection and Live or Extract. What is the difference? Basically what Tableau is saying is that how you want your data connected. Do you want it live? So why are you build the dashboard? If there is any data coming in, and you want it automatically updated. Or do you want an extract? I'll go into. The live connection is basically where your data source contains a direct connection to your underlying data now. Note that this here is a text file, it's not getting updated, it's on your local computer. We don't necessarily need a live connection, but in a case we do need a live connection, remember. When you do connect live, it's not always best for your dashboard, it's not optimized for fast performance as you building your dashboard. Remember, Tableau is also concentrating on getting live data into your dashboard. It definitely slows the process, and I've worked on live databases before where I had to build dashboards. And often are not too slow, it's very frustrating. If you are choosing live, I think always also question, does it need to be live? Is this somebody who's gonna monitor this dashboard 24/7? Or can you think of a better data workflow? Alright, so that brings us to the next option, which is extract, and this is definitely my go-to. Extracts are snapshots of data which are optimized for Tableau. They're optimized for data aggregation as well. These snapshots are actually loaded into Tableau's memory to be quickly recalled for the visualization. It definitely makes your workbook faster when you build your dashboards. I do recommend them. The good thing is also, remember, if it's an extract you can actually connect to it offline. So once you develop the extract, it gets saved to your local computer and you can build your dashboard like that without an internet connection. Whereas live doesn't require that. If you don't have an internet connection or if you have post signal, you won't be able to build the dashboard. It's definitely good practice to get into the habit of letting an extract unless you really needed live. The next thing want to talk about is the filters. On top here, so what this does is that it can filter your data source, and this is useful if you only want to make an analysis based on a certain set of data. Maybe you want to build a dashboard on a specific year of data, you can use the filters here. Now using the filters on this window, so in your data source pane, if you use a filter here you can't build a dashboard on the data that you faulted out. So if you just want to see 2018 data and you create a filter here, you will not build your dashboard on any other year other than the year of 2018. I just want to show you how to do photos quickly because it's quite important. So click on add, and let's say we want to filter on maybe a hotel. Let's do a hotel. Let's only bring in hotel CDM, so click add, and the field we are looking at is some numbers of data extracted. Click OK, and I just want to see hotel CDM. I'm just going to search on this text and hotel CDM pops up, so selected, and we can see we selected one value out of total numbers of data extracted. Click OK, and you can see now this changes, so it says that there's a hotel filter and the details are it's only keeping hotel CDM. Click OK, and now you can see that only hotel CDM will appear in your data set. OK, now I actually want to do an analysis on the whole data set. I'm not going to do a photo here, so let's remove it. To do that, click on edit on the top right, click on the study filter and click remove. Click OK. Now we are back to normal. OK, I think we've done